Now we're going to move on to American news. That's right. 18 have been killed in Maine in a mass shooting rampage. The mass shooter is still at large.
Senseless mass shooting after a gunman in Lewiston, Maine, opened fire on a youth night at the town's bowling alley and then a restaurant.
At least 16 people are dead and dozens more were injured. There is an active manhunt right now for the person of interest. He is considered armed and very dangerous. As we come on the air, the shelter-in-place order has expanded, and people are urged to stay inside and lock their doors. Schools in the area are closed this morning.
Sources telling ABC News he has a history of military service and is a firearms instructor, and was treated at a mental health facility over the summer after allegedly...
Nice, man. Yeah, it's just like, it just doesn't matter, right? I mean, this shit happens every day, and it must be, of course, as always, it must be a psyop. It must be.
Saying he was hearing voices and threatened to shoot up a National Guard facility in Saco, Maine. That lockdown is in place in Lewiston and surrounding communities. People told to stay indoors, lock their doors. Businesses and schools are closed as more than 100 investigators comb the area looking for that suspect.
Yeah, also this dude was a big Cat Turd fan as shown by his Twitter likes. So here's Cat Turd's response. That's cool, man. Yeah, shall not be infringed, as in like this guy who is like literally, even by Republican standards, a guy that shouldn't have a gun, Cat Turd thinks is perfectly valid to keep arming and not taking his guns away. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, I fucking chills, dude. I have chills. I don't know what to say. Like, I live 30 minutes away. We're sheltering in place and everyone's closed except fucking Trader Joe's, which opened with no regards to their employees' safety. I talked about this before. I tweeted about it earlier this morning as well, where it's like, we treat gun violence and mass shootings as a naturally occurring phenomena, and you have to do that. You have to do that because there's just no fucking way. There's no other way to view it. We're not going to get anything done. We're never going to pass legislation, even though gun violence is a perfectly preventable problem. It is a perfectly preventable problem. It's just that Americans believe that the Constitution is our fucking Bible, and they cannot see anything beyond the relatively modern interpretation of the Second Amendment. And it's perfectly tied to the interests of the gun lobby, the gun manufacturers, and it's perfectly tied to Americans utilizing their consumption as their cultural signifier. In this circumstance, their consumption is guns, and becoming single issue voters that will do everything to ensure that they can continue having their toys. By the way, it's harder to buy Sudafed in Maine than it is to buy an AR-15. Yeah, well, that makes sense. No red flag laws, pretty easy to buy fucking guns. This guy was institutionalized numerous times, it seems. It's great, cool stuff overall. People like to treat this person like it's an anomaly, but freaks like this are all too common in the state. Everyone knows someone like this in their area who's an arsenal in their closet, could snap at any moment, and the state has no protections against people like this owning firearms. Yeah, guns are incredibly easy to acquire. They are readily available, readily accessible. We have no structure that helps people with undergoing severe mental health complications as conditions worsen, and everybody hyper focuses on their toys and the things that they purchase, and that thing being guns. They become more rabid in their defense of maintaining their guns and maintaining their arsenal, and there is no interest at all in moderating any of this, in regulating any of this. So what the fuck do we think is going to happen? What do we think is going to happen? What is slated to happen? The guy is a full-blown far-right nutso. Here is his account. Here are all of his likes from his account. CCTV idiots, Elon Musk, Fox News, Kevin McCarthy, Cat Turd, big Cat Turd guy. Now, obviously, they wiped it. They wiped all of his accounts, but before they wiped it, you could see his greatest hits. He had a Twitter account. A lot of these guys have Twitter accounts. A lot of these guys get radicalized by watching television. A lot of these guys go crazy. This is not the first time this has happened. It's not even the first time this happened this week. This past week, you saw an Islamophobic hate crime occur in Chicago, where a landlord stabbed to death a 6-year-old Palestinian kid and stabbed the mother as well. Luckily, she survived so she could tell the tale. And what we found out from the landlord, who is now in custody, and his family members, is that over the course of many, many years, he has become increasingly radicalized through talk radio. Yeah, for years and years, I have, and many others have, talked about the radicalization that occurs with far-right anti-government extremists, okay? White supremacy is nefarious. It's also incredibly common, and it's not going to go away unless we address at least the underlying material conditions that are causing people to snap, or even address the misinformation campaign that is readily available everywhere you turn on the media. Everyone immediately before the shit was purged looked through their Twitter history, even though Elon bleached it. Trump Train, Jim Jordan, Elon Musk, Cat Turd, N Wokeness, McCarthy, Babylon Bee, the who's who of right-wing Christian fascist ideology. Ben Shapiro also makes appearances as well. But yeah, they recorded all of his fucking likes. You can be an anti-government radical without being far-right? Yes, but far-right anti-government extremism is the proper designation that is a broader umbrella that is responsible for almost 90% of domestic terror. That's why I use that specific terminology. Far-right anti-government extremism is the terminology used by professionals in the Department of Homeland Security, by professionals in general that look at acts of domestic terrorism. Why isn't he being labeled as a terrorist by the media? Does he have to be bearded and Arab? What did he achieve? Killing civilians in terror? Yes, this is an act of stochastic terror, but because stochastic terror, specifically white supremacist or far-right stochastic terror, or a far-right guy snapping and like going and doing a fucking random mass shooting is expected. Now, I want to explain something to you. Okay, I want to explain something to you. Like, this, as far as I understand, is not like a hate crime that this person engaged in. He just went on a fucking murder spree. He happens to be a far-right freak who went on a murder spree, okay? But it does seem like this is one of those instances where he just fucking snapped. So obviously, the snapping is more so a byproduct of not having adequate protective measures in place. Yeah, he was a paranoid schizophrenic who's also an alt-right extremist. Reading that shit is like gasoline for psychosis. True. Maine has massive gun and mental health issue with yellow flag laws. They are the highest suicide rate via firearm by wide margin, and he also killed more people than the total in 2021. Lewiston is known for having a large immigrant population, especially Somali refugees. I wouldn't be surprised if this is part of why he went there. I live nearby. Some black activists on the ground have also apparently reported this guy before to law enforcement, saying that they were being harassed by him. But so we'll see. Listen, I'm not willing to make this assessment yet. Okay, this is nearby. His sister said he might have been targeting an ex based on location. I've been watching this. This broke yesterday. I'm not willing to make an assessment at this point, but I will show you what he believes in, okay? But I want to make sure that you understand. I'm not stating that this is like, this instance is absolutely like a hate crime. I don't think there's enough evidence yet on that matter. I think these are two separate things, okay? Thank you, Protasium. I agree with you. It's too indiscriminate to be a hate crime, at least thus far. We do not know. The X theory is probably the best motive I've heard so far. So this guy is crazy. Like, it seems like another moment of like someone quote unquote going postal rather than someone who is like deliberately trying to do right-wing terrorism. He might be a right-wing psychopath on top of that, but it seems his indiscriminate slaughter here is not directly associated with his right-wing values. He just seems incredibly mentally ill. Now, did right-wing radicalization probably play a role in his like insanity? Probably. You know, but I don't think that it's the it's the major responsible cause here.
According to police, there had been mental health issues, including hearing voices, and had possibly threatened to shoot up a military installation.
Someone in the chat also brought this up, but like schizophrenic people are infinitely more likely to be victims of violence rather than those who perpetrate violent acts. So that's an important distinction to make here. The idea that like every schizophrenic person is scary and violent is most often portrayed in the media, and it's just like, it's not how this works in the real world. Now, however, having said that, do I believe that if you're schizophrenic, you should not have access to a weapon? Absolutely. And it's not just schizophrenia either. If you have chronic depression, you should not have access to a weapon either. And that's not because I think that you're going to go out and do a mass shooting. That's because I think you're going to kill yourself. And as a matter of fact, many do. That's part of the reason why America has such high suicide rates for men. Men oftentimes use guns as an easy method to commit suicide. So This is something to also consider. Gun violence is massive in the United States of America, and a big part of that gun violence is actually suicides by gun. So these are all things to understand. These are all things to consider. I am absolutely the most ableist motherfucker you've ever heard in your entire life. If you think that I think that you should have a gun, despite having like severe mental illnesses, you're out of your fucking mind. You must be out of your goddamn mind, okay? No, it's for your own good and your own safety. Okay.
I was also, struck by the locations for these two mass shootings. Just-in-time recreation center, Schmegley's billiards hall. I mean, no, it's in the middle of the week, but these are sort of family-friendly places.
Well, I can tell you they're soft targets, right? They're not going to have much. They're not going to have much in the way of security.
Yeah, soft targets. That's why. Famously, fucking shootings never happen on like military bases, which are also hard targets, right? It's just like everything is a deflection. Oh, mental health, deflection. Soft target, a deflection. And everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows what the problem is. There are too many fucking guns in the streets, and there are too many fucking freaks who have access to guns, and it's very easy to get more. There's no mechanism in place to just like take away guns from people who should not have guns, and people are going to keep killing themselves with guns, and they're going to keep killing other people with guns, or they fucking snap. There's no way to solve the underlying material issues that make it so commonplace that people just fucking snap and lose their minds, and then they take out their arsenal and go fucking deploy it on a unsuspecting restaurant. It's so strange that this only happens in the motherfucking United States of America. It doesn't happen anywhere else, just the US. But hey, I don't know, let's not look at it. Let's not try to understand. FBI and local authorities are circling his most recently used address. Loud bangs heard and loudspeaker saying FBI come out. They think he's in his house or something. I don't know.
The suspect likely knew that, pre-planned this attack. And look, it's a small town, and these were likely two popular places. He knew that there would be little resistance in the way of security, and he had an escape plan. He knew exactly what he was going to do after he carried out the attack. And now he's on.
He has multiple properties. How the fuck does this dude have multiple properties, bro? What is happening? Guns are expensive as fuck too. I just don't understand. Like, how did these motherfuckers get multiple properties and guns and shit? How? And a boat?
Elaine, quickly, during the press conference, we saw a lot of people standing up there. Which agencies are involved in this investigation?
Yeah, so we know among them, right, a number of federal agencies, including U.S. Marshals, ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms agents, the FBI. And then it's interesting, Anne Marie, as we were standing here just a moment ago, we saw with its lights on, going down the road here very quickly, a Department of Homeland Security.
I just don't understand how the fuck he got away with it. Like, I don't, like, what happened there? These cops were just, what, sitting around with their fucking thumbs in their ass? Like, what the fuck was going on? It's not very easy. Like, it's not easy to kill, like, 20 plus people. You know what I mean? It takes a while. So I don't get it. I don't understand how. Like it takes a while to fucking shoot 20 plus people. And at that point, it's like, how the fuck is there what is the response time? HasanAbi doesn't understand small towns. I mean, I guess not. I don't know. I just don't understand how, like, here, let's look at this. This is Janet Mills, the governor. What's she saying?
18 people lost their lives and 13 people injured in last night's attacks. In memory of those we lost and in honor of those who were injured, President Biden and I have ordered all U.S. flags and state of Maine flags to be lowered to half-staff immediately for the next 5 days. Maine State.
Guys, he's not a firearms instructor. That was wrong. That was incorrect information. He's a fuel tech, fuel specialist. The Army reservist who never got deployed, and he's a fuel specialist. Okay?
Police have issued a shelter-in-place order for Lewiston, Lisbon, and Bowdoin. My administration is coordinating closely with local, regional, and federal officials to respond to this shooting. I have spoken twice.
Don't believe Mills, this doesn't happen in our town. There was a mass shooting followed by a highway shooting in April in Bowdoin, one of the lockdown order towns. I mean, that doesn't mean it's like all too common still. You know what probably is common in Maine, I suspect? Don't even know enough about it. Okay? How do you say it? Bowdoin. Bitch, shut up. I don't know. I don't know. Bowdoin. Okay? There you go. Bowdoin. Bowden. Let me explain something to you, okay? Shut the fuck up. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say, okay? God damn it. No, you know what's probably very commonplace in a town like this? In a fucking small town, try that in a small town shit. Suicides by gun. Domestic violence incidents where guns are used. If I were to look up statistics on especially suicides, you'd see what the real issue is. I don't know why they said it was a sniper, by the way. In the photos, it looks like an AR and not like a sniper.
I also spoke with Mayor Carl Chalene and Auburn Mayor Jason Levesque last night to reiterate that we are standing by them and that we are ready to provide any help people in these communities need.
So who's the victim here? The guy with the weapons? The real victim is the guns, because we live in America. So it's not the actual people that died. It's not their families. It's not the businesses. It's the guns. So when they lower the flag half-mast, they're actually lowering it not for the human victims, not the human toll, but for the guns. Because for a brief moment, gun manufacturers will actually print money because everyone's going to go out and buy more weapons, thinking that there will ever be any kind of gun regulation that comes as a consequence of that. So those are the real victims. That's why they do 21 gun salutes. Yes, when someone dies, when like a member of the fucking law enforcement community dies, they do it for the gun, because like now this gun is without a home. You know what I mean? It's not the cop that died that matters. It's the gun that lost its cop. You know? That's what I think, at least. It must be for that reason, right? It's got to be. Because when you look at the actual policy, yup, my whole Facebook feed is telling everybody to go buy guns. Yup, because we are very stupid. We are a very stupid country. Full of stupid people and with no solutions. So I don't know what else to say in this circumstance. Other than all guns matter. Yeah. Little guns, big guns, NATO rounds, little magazines, big magazines, clips. Yeah. 308, 5.53, 22 caliber. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's a gun, a fucking water gun, I still think they matter too. 5.56, not 5.53. Shut the fuck up. I said 5.53. Everyone, oh my god, all the gun perverts in the chat are yelling at me. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, you guys are unbearable, dude. Unfucking bearable. You are the problem. Automatic rifles, okay? The automatic rifle 15s. That's what matters here. That's what AR-15 stands for. Automatic rifle. You pissed off all the chatters who've never touched a gun but play COD. Yeah.
If you or a person you love needs someone to talk to during this difficult time, please call or text 988 for free and confidential counseling.
Nice, dude. They got telehealth initiatives ready to go. Hey, have you been victim to yet another fucking massacre that seemingly happens in the only country where it happens all the time, and it happens so fucking frequently that people still fucking turn around and say like, oh my God, this must be a psyop, okay? Well, here's a telehealth measure. BetterHelp.com is here to save you.